Hey guys, yesterday we got a ton of information dumped on us about 10.2, so today we're going to be talking about just the Elemental Shaman tier set and talk about if it's good, if it's bad, and what it kind of pushes in direction of our builds. So first off, the 2 set is going to be our Primordial Wave, also casts an Elemental Blast at the target at 100% effectiveness, and also grants all 3 Elemental Blast bonuses for 15 seconds. So right away, right in the text, we've got Primordial Wave being mentioned, which is obviously a fire-based build. Are we moving back in the direction of fire? It certainly seems that way, especially from what little testing we've done so far. So if you're interested in fire builds, this might be the time to jump back in. Our 4 set is going to be for 10 seconds after using Primordial Wave. Whenever you consume a Lava Surge, your next Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning is instant cast and deals 25% increased damage. So on paper, the way this sounds like it's going to be working out is you're going to be obviously using some form of fire build with Primordial Wave. And then it sounds like what it wants you to be doing is anytime you get a Lava Surge after using your Primordial Wave, you're going to want to be using a Lightning Bolt to weave that in. However, that's really only how it works on paper. So, again, let's just talk about how it works on paper just a little bit more. It seemed like a good idea of trying to marry in some of that lightning into a fire build so it's not just pure fire. That seems to be the way that this is trying to be worded. One thing that I want to note is that the Elemental Blast from the Primordial Wave from the 2 set is attached to actually casting Primordial Wave, which means that if there is a priority target but you're trying to spread your flame shocks, you're not going to want to use Primordial Wave as a spread of that flame shock, unfortunately, because it casts that Elemental Blast right as you press Primordial Wave. So you'll really only want to be using that on your primary target, unless those other targets don't really have any priority. If there's no priority, then it doesn't really matter. You're just sending out an Elemental Blast on a random target. But overall, that kind of sucks. It does kind of limit that usefulness of being able to spread with Primordial Wave. Again, more of that priority target, but that's not that big of a deal right there. So early impressions, fire looks like it's definitely back in the game. I will start talking about now, we've done a little bit of testing across like a whole bunch of different people in the Shaman Discord, and I've been kind of soaking that in the very limited testing that we've been doing so far. Right now, it seems that the Further Beyond build will be doing the best single target. And it's right now, it's just really not close. And before I get too much further into this, I do want to say that we are super early into testing on the PTR. This announcement only came less than 24 hours ago. There's going to be a lot of changes. Blizzard will probably be tuning things consistently over the next 2 months. There's even precedent that they might completely change certain tier sets. Obviously, Rogue is getting a full rework to their tree. A whole bunch of talents are getting moved around, and they're getting a ton more defensiveness. So, a lot of things at play. The Demon Hunters are also getting a rework, I believe it is. So they're going to be seeing a lot of things move around through the next 2 months. Nothing is set in stone yet. So before it starts sounding like doom and gloom, just know that things are very much up in the air, and things are going to change a lot over the next 2 months or more. I don't even know if it's going to be 2 months. It might be 3 months. So we'll just have to see how it goes. 2 months is my early prediction. But anyway, the way it's playing right now in single target is, like I said, that Further Beyond build. And basically what you're going to be doing is waiting for that proc to go into Ascendance, and then from there you're basically permanently in Ascendance using that Primordial Wave to generate more Lava Bursts. Also, that Elemental Blast is feeding into that Further Beyond, so extending out that duration of Ascendance, and just getting all those procs from Deeply Rooted Elements means that you can basically stay in Ascendance indefinitely, especially with people who have better gear than me, or at least have better gear in terms of better stat allocations. At least that's where I think it's coming from. Like, especially if I only have like 20% mastery right now on the PTR. People who are closer to 50 are having absolutely no issue staying in Ascendance pretty much indefinitely. The longest Ascendance I've had so far is 15 minutes, but I haven't messed around with it too long. But obviously 15 minutes is longer than any fight that we've seen in quite some time. So not really too worried about basically calling it indefinite at this point. So basically all you're doing in that situation is pressing Lava Burst and Elemental Blast, and then using Primordial Wave when it comes off cooldown. And that's pretty much it. And you might be asking yourself, well, what about the 4 set? Are you weaving in those Lightning Bolts or Chain Lightnings or for single target? Nope, not doing any of that. The 4-piece essentially does nothing right now in the Further Beyond build, and it's not really close at all. There's no build that we've found yet that is anywhere close to that in single target. So if you like a 2-button build, There you go. So, I mean, if you really like lava bursts and chucking out lava bursts over and over and over again and having a very simplistic build, this might be it. I don't think that's going to be the thing that they're hoping to have happen once 10.2 actually launches. Having no usage out of the 4-piece is probably not what they intended, but that is how it's playing out right now. Again, no other build is getting anywhere close to the damage of this one, but again, tuning numbers are going to change, and I'm sure they'll work something out. They might even change the 4-piece entirely, but we'll just have to see. I'm not going to try to make any kind of assumptions on what they are actually planning to do. It does seem like they want to move in a direction where you're not completely ignoring the lightning side of the tree, or at least not completely ignoring like lightning bolt or those kind of abilities. They kind of want you to weave it in. That's what I'm kind of getting from this 4-piece. You're just not doing it right now on the PTR. Again, a lot can change. I will say, moving into Mythic Plus, if you enjoyed Wildfire in Season 1, it looks for sure to be coming back, and will probably be more powerful than it was in Season 1, but also just probably more fun to play with, being able to get those instant casts. Chain Lightning's out. That might be a fun playstyle that we can mess around with. Not a lot of tuning's been done as far as AoE, or not tuning, but not a lot of testing has been done so far on AoE. We haven't gotten a chance to look at the dungeons yet, so when those dungeons start coming out and we start getting more just reps and more practice in with some of the just kind of the builds that people are playing and trying to figure out what is best, we'll get a better look at it. But I think that as far as Mythic Plus goes, I think Ellie will be in a good place, at least for AoE. The thing that I'm most worried about between Mythic Plus and rating is that if they do tune Elemental's single target damage to be around the idea that we have Further Beyond, the likelihood is you won't be having Further Beyond in Mythic Plus. So we probably would then, in that situation, have drastically reduced single target in Mythic Plus, and that was a big issue we had in Season 1, is just not bringing a whole lot of single target. Doing fine in AoE, but just not having that same single target available to us in Mythic Plus. So that's one thing that I'm worried about, is that tuning around Further Beyond. Hopefully that won't be the case. I did make a video in Season 1 about all the issues that I had with Elemental Shaman, and then 10.1 came out and we went into a lightning build, and it was kind of called like the Band-Aid. It basically ignored all the issues that we had on the fire side of the tree, and lightning became prominent, and lightning worked out. You might not like lightning permanently, the build that we have right now, but it at least synergized really well with itself, and you weren't giving up a ton of AoE to go full single target, and vice versa. But since that patch of 10.1, as we move into 10.2, none of those issues that I mentioned in that video have been changed at all. So we're going right back to fire with all the issues still in place. And again, we're being threatened by the 2-button spec, as it were. Again, if you like that, then, more power to you. I am just kind of worried about its place in terms of like being able to still do single target in a Mythic Plus environment, but we're still a long ways away from that. That's just me speculating more than anything else. And we'll just kind of have to see how that all plans out. So we've still got a lot of testing to go. Again, just kind of summarize here. The overarching thing is that if you like fire, it looks like fire is back on the table. We're going to be seeing tons of fire builds being experimented with over the next couple of months, and we'll see what pans out. I mean, that's really where we are right now. I will be streaming on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Renmark if you're interested in PTR testing, especially once raid testing comes out. I'm planning on doing all of the testing for all of the raid testing that we are allotted to. So if you're interested in that, feel free to give me a follow there. But other than that, if you have any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment, or you can join my Discord, which will be in the description. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.